What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome to Model Airplane Review. It's your host, Ray. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the Inflight 200 1 to 200 scale Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy Boeing 747 SP. I definitely did not just read that off of the side of the airplane. In this video, I'll talk about the box and the model itself, as well as the keychain that's included with it. And at the end of the video, I'll give my personal opinion about what I think of the model and whether or not I recommend it to other collectors. This is going to be a pretty long review, so sit back, relax, and let's get this started. Starting off with the box is a standard issue Inflight box at 31 centimeters lengthwise, 30 centimeters height-wise, and 14 centimeters wide. So this box, like many other Inflight 200 boxes, is different from other manufacturers such as Gemini Jets and JC Wings, where their boxes here on Inflight have a sleeve which has the box art, and the actual box is unmarked, and that's what this looks like. It's just a cardboard structure. But I'll show you around the box. So here's the front. Looks beautiful in my opinion with that NASA logo. I'm a sucker for that one. Here's the bottom. Right side, not much to see. Top, left side, not much to see. And here's the back side. Take a moment to read this if you'd like to. Included in the box is the model itself, fully assembled, painted, and ready to go with its landing gear permanently extended. This model does not have interchangeable landing gear, a metal display stand, and the keychain as promised. Here's what the model looks like on its display stand. The included display stand is made entirely out of metal, and the fit is pretty good. You can see the model does kind of tilt back a bit, but it still fits the model okay, so I don't think the display stand is inadequate. It should be able to support the model just fine. It has a very thick foam cushion to prevent damage to the bottom of the fuselage, so the included display stand does its job just fine. However, keep in mind that you can just display it on the landing gear since that won't be moving since it's permanently extended. But yeah, the display stand is an option. And here's the keychain that's included with this model. It's about 14 centimeters long and 4 centimeters tall. It's pretty nice, very high quality. I haven't seen any types of keychains like this outside of this model, and it has the 747 right here. Very, very high quality. I'm a huge fan of keychains, especially the remove before flight ones, so this is certainly pretty cool. However, I wouldn't recommend putting this on a keyring or anything like that because that's going to get it damaged, and this is part of a limited edition collectible, so I'd suggest just displaying this with the model. And here's the model itself. I'll give you a quick 360 before I start my review. Fuselage length for this model is going to be 27 centimeters, wingspan is 29 centimeters, and it's about 10 centimeters tall. Accurate to 1 to 200 scale and pretty darn big, because after all, the 747 is quite a large aircraft. This model is also pretty heavy because it is made primarily out of die-cast metal. I don't know if there's any plastic components to this, or, well, major plastic components to it, but overall, based on my materials analysis, it's made pretty much entirely out of die-cast metal. Alright, so starting up the review with the fuselage, here we got the nose section. Nose shape looks pretty good. I'm not an expert on the 747 nose, but it looks pretty solid. Printed detail up here, plenty of printed detail to go around. We got this hatch here, the NASA logo, and then the DLR logo. NASA logo is pretty small, so it's not as detailed, and it is slightly misaligned, but it's nothing insane. I won't complain about it. We got the airplane's name. I believe that's Clipper Lindbergh. I'm not 100% sure. It's because this airplane came from, I believe it was United Airlines. And yeah, I think they used to name the planes like that. I'm no expert on this plane's history. I'm just observing that. But yeah, overall, solid start. I don't have anything to complain about. Very nicely detailed. Here we've got the SOFIA title, and that's what I was reading off of. Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. This thing had a giant telescope fitted inside of it, which I will show that in a moment. So as we move down the fuselage, just taking a look at the details. Overall, pretty good. I don't notice anything that I need to criticize, which is good. If I don't notice anything I need to criticize, that means I like it. So that's good. So here is where this observatory was. And yeah, it was a giant infrared telescope. And this is a door that would open up and allow for this telescope to conduct its research and do all that fun stuff. Now, the inaccuracy with this model and many others is that this area surrounding this door was kind of raised in order to make room for the door facilities and all that fun stuff. However, model manufacturers don't really modify their molds to accommodate for this, so they just do a printed outline of that. And while that is an inaccuracy, it's really, I mean, you can't really blame the model manufacturer all that much because it would be absurdly expensive to modify the mold for just one model, but that is an inaccuracy that's present with this model and many others. So we'll move to the rear of the fuselage. You can see the aircraft's registration, N747NA, and yeah, so far off to a strong start. So here's the vertical stabilizer. We've got the DLR logo, and then we got the white and the red, black, and blue NASA logo. These look pretty good. No complaints. Rudder details look pretty nice. The paint does kind of fill up the rudder detail up here, but aside from that, it's pretty solid. I do see a bit of a stain right here, or a scratch. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, it's a stain or scratch or a very small printed detail. And then also we got a little bit of a bump here on the rudder. Oh wait, no, that's just a piece of dust, so disregard that. But pretty solid. Here's the other side. Notice how the NASA logo is reversed to fit on the tail. That I really find cool. So I'll move down the rest of the right side of the fuselage. Overall, the right side looks pretty solid as well. I do notice a few specks of dust here and there and what might be a stain right up there. Right here. So right here, there appears to be a bit of a scratch. Okay, no, never mind. Disregard that. It came off. I noticed that with this model, there were a lot of dust specks and small particles of dust that were colored black, which I'd never seen before, and it was a problem in the rear section of the aircraft. Here's a picture of what it looked like when I first opened it. Although the model itself wasn't really affected by it, it was definitely annoying to clean all that off, and I wasn't able to get all of it. Moving up to the wings, here are the wings. They're not exactly that detailed because there's not that much detail to put up here anyway, so I won't complain about that too much. Now, there is molded detail that you can probably not see right now, but there, now you can see it. Molded detail with the control surfaces is very filled in by the paint. That's a problem with in-flight models sometimes. They do that, and that is kind of annoying. It is very hard to see, especially at a distance. You can't see it. So, yeah. Still, though, painted details look pretty good. We've got our lights here, and then the leading edge slats are painted a metallic gray, which looks pretty good. Paint application seems to be mostly consistent as well, so no complaints. Here we've got one of the probes back here. These actually came wrapped in some sort of clear plastic material that was really hard to remove. I did eventually get that off though, so I won't complain. But yeah, these probes, super fragile. Be extremely careful in handling this model. See on the bottom of the wings, there isn't that much to see either. You'll notice that this model doesn't have any flat fairings, and that is accurate to the 747 SP. Originally, I thought it wasn't, but it is. Yeah, decent amount of detail down here. No complaints. All is good. Here's the rear section of the plane. The horizontal stabilizers look pretty solid. No complaints. There is metallic paint on the leading edges, which looks cool. Here's the APU. APU looks pretty good. Okay, actually, wow, that looks pretty solid. It has a hole and everything. There is a bit of staining going on this side. I might have to try and clean that off, but yeah, there is staining. And yeah, aside from that, everything back here seems to be pretty decent. There I go. I almost broke one of the probes on the right wing. I'm not sure if you heard that, but the model hit the desk, so yeah, I gotta be really careful when handling this thing. And right from here, I'll just move on to the engines. So the engines in this model are very nice looking. As you can see, they are polished chrome with the front here as well as the exhaust portion. Very nice. They also have spinners that do spin very stiffly, and spinner spirals, which aren't exactly accurate to this aircraft, but they're there, which is cool. Now, something that is really concerning for me is this printed detail on the side of the engines, these little boxes. You can see on this one, that printed detail, and you can see my reflection in the engine, jeez. You can see that printed detail is chipped very heavily and coming off pretty easy. And that's the problem. Those gray printed details are not protected at all. So if you scratch it, it'll come right off. I really don't like that because it's just kind of makes me paranoid that the rest of the paint is unreliable as well. So that is something to look out for. If you scratch your nail over it or scratch your finger over it hard enough, it will come off. So you need to be very mindful of that. But yeah, aside from that, the engines are pretty nicely detailed. I'll show you guys the other side. Very good looking with the polished finish as well. I do find it funny how I can see myself all distorted through the reflection. Moving on to aerial details, this model features antennas and lights. We've got a 3D light right up here, looks pretty good, and one gray antenna at the top of the front section of the fuselage. That's all we've got on the top of the aircraft. Bottom of the aircraft has a bit more detail. We've got a small antenna right here at the front section of the aircraft, another small antenna here, a 3D light, and one more antenna at the rear section here. So decent amount of antennas, all of which look good. No complaints on those. None of them are loose or anything, so very solid. Down here you can see we got a lot of detail, a pretty big Inflight 200 logo there, and some of the details here were attempted to be filled, I guess, with paint. I'm not sure what happened there. It doesn't look necessarily bad, but it doesn't look that good either. We'll start talking about the landing gear. So the landing gear is permanently extended. It appears that it's doesn't pivot. I don't believe the landing gear is supposed to pivot. The main gear is supposed to pivot, but all the wheels do roll very smoothly, and they're made out of rubber, so that's really nice to see. So even though the gear is not interchangeable, it is permanently extended. It's pretty durable, and I can respect that. And the nose wheel pivots within a very wide range very easily, and you can see that it also has the nose wheel light gems. So very good details on the landing gear, and overall I'm happy with the quality. And here's the front of the airplane. Gear balance looks good, cockpit window printing looks good, and that's about where it ends. So those horizontal stabilizers look like they're bent up pretty high. I'm not sure it's supposed to be like that for the 747 SP. Yeah, they're bent up pretty high and they look slightly asymmetrical. Vertical stabilizer is bent up to the right side of the aircraft or left side of your screen, and the wing flex looks pretty high. I don't think it's supposed to be that high. It does align with what's on the box art, but yeah, the wing flex looks pretty high up. Engine clearance is okay, and like I said, gear balance is good. Just, yeah, that does not look all that good. Okay, hold on a minute. I just noticed something with the landing lights. Notice how the landing lights on the right side of the aircraft, the left side of your screen here, they're a little bit higher up on the wing than on the left side. I just noticed that. Ugh, I don't like that at all. I don't like asymmetry. And with that comes an end to my review. Now time for my personal opinion recommendation. So this model is pretty solid, actually. Of course, the dust issue was really annoying to see, but it's not a permanent effect to the model. So I am happy to say that at least it's not something that I can't fix. There were a few things here and there, like that wing flex, that I'm not too sure about. But aside from that, this is a pretty solid model. And the fact that it includes the keychain is really cool. I am a huge fan of keychains, and it's just a nice feature to have. So I do recommend this model to any collector who wants it. I'm not sure if this thing's going to sell out fast, but I know for sure that no one's going to release one for a very long time. So if you're looking to get this one, get it while you still can. Well, that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more model airplane content, and that's all I have. Like, comment, and subscribe. Happy collecting. Take care of yourselves. See you next time.